Hello class, welcome to lab number 7, handling text files. This lab is going to be a little bit more challenging because I'm only going to explain the things that I think are a little bit more challenging to help you with your final exam. Everything in this lab is in your final exam. Make sure you read your pre-work section and make sure you read the readme part. They are important for question 1, 2, and 3. And then the text files you need to install will be used for the rest of the lab. I will not do question 1, I will not do question 2, and I won't do question number 3. I think they're pretty easy and they are straightforward, and you should be familiar with these commands already. If you need a review, well, the presentation is right there, right over here. Go give it a read. I suggest you do this before you do this lab. This week does not have a week report. All I require is that you go and you do the practice of each and every one of these commands over here as preparation for your final exam, and so that you can successfully complete this lab. Again, no week report for this particular week, no need. Now let's continue over here. The tr and grep command are pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Pretty much tr is used for replacing one character with another, one word with another. For this question over here, we're going to be replacing semicolons for a comma inside the file serials.csv. So let's just go ahead and go to documents and then CSV. And then here you have a file called serial.csv. We're going to cut this file so we see what's inside there. And we need to replace every semicolon with a colon, with a comma. So I'm going to clear the screen again. Repeat the previous command, but this time we pipe that into tr. And the formula for tr is tr, the character you want to replace, and then the character you want to replace it with, surrounded by quotations, both of them. Press enter and it's done. That's it. Now for the command grep, it's quite straightforward too. Let me go back to the books directory. So I'm gonna go in the books directory and let's do cat Dracula, for example, right? Dracula. Now, this is the entire book thrown to you at the screen. But let's say you want to see every line that contains the word project, for example. So, if you want to do that, all we have to do is type grep, and then in quotations we put here the word or the search criteria that we're looking for. It can be a single word, it can be an entire sentence, it can be every line that starts at a particular with a particular word or with a particular set of characters. The point is that in those quotations, that's where you put your search criteria. In my case, the search criteria is the word project. Then here I'm going to type the name of the file in which I'm going to do this search. This is going to be called dracula.txt. grep works in a line by line basis. So it's going to look every line for the particular word that you specified or the particular criteria that you're looking for. When I press enter over here, notice that this particular line contains the word project, this line contains the word project, and so this line, because that's how grep works. If I want to see the line numbers, because I need to see in which line specifically that particular word is located, I can just pass the N option, and notice that now we have a particular number at the beginning, which tells me that in line 481 of this particular file, we have the word project. If you go in the presentation and you go to the part with grep, you're gonna see more examples of when we use the grep command and more specific stuff of using the grep command. I recommend you to review it and practice it because it is in the final in more than one question. Now, what is it that they're asking me here? Well, give me every line that contains the word love. So I'm gonna do clear and I'm gonna do grep and give me the word love, and then the book, which is Pride and Prejudice, and that's exactly which was gonna be displayed on the screen, every line that contains the word love. I can also turn off case sensitivity to be more exact, and now even if there is a word love in uppercase, it will still be displayed on the screen. Next, I think you can do this question on your own, and this question over here is a little bit more interesting because this question tells you, now I am not looking for a specific word, I am looking for every word that contains or that starts with an uppercase letter or that starts with a number. So we're gonna search every line, and every time we find a line that starts with an uppercase letter or a number, we will display it on the screen. Now, there is an example in the presentation, of course, but let's solve it over here as well. So we're gonna do grep, and in quotations here, we're gonna say give me, we're gonna use the caret symbol here for simplifying beginning of the line, everything that starts with an uppercase letters. That would be A to C. Also, this is an OR statement. Give me everything that starts, we're going to put the caret symbol one more time over here, with a digit, 0 to 9. Now let's read this query again. So, give me everything that starts, like every line that starts, that's why we have the caret symbol at the beginning, with a uppercase letter. Or, right, it's an OR statement, give me everything that starts with a digit. In the book, Dracula. What is going to be displayed on the screen is nothing because we forgot to pass the argument E for regular expression. There you go. So again, option E for regular expression, and this is the expression that we are searching for. Notice that this starts with an uppercase letter, this starts with a number, and so on and so on and so on. Now let's review question number 5. Question number 5 is a little bit more interesting. So we're going to be using awk and sed, right? Beautiful commands and very powerful commands for manipulating text. So for the first command, it's quite simple. All we're gonna do is print the first letter, the first and the last field of the cars.csv file. And if you are familiar with cut, you'll realize that this can also be done with cut. It's just that awk is 10 times more powerful. So what we're gonna do is, just for review, we're gonna go here and we will look at the formula of the awk command. So you have awk, great, awk. Then we have options. Now, the options over here are, let's see, let's remember the question again. The first and last field of the cars.csv file. Well, I don't need many options over here. I can just start with my awk expression, which will be give me, print to the screen, the first field and the last field. And I believe that the variable for last field is NF, first and last field. So to make your life easy, I provided you a little table here with number of fields, NF, and yeah, I think that's correct. Last field NF, great. And the file that we're working with is called serial cars.csv. 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 Okay, I have to go back to the CSV folder because that's where the file is, because my current directory is books. So press enter and notice that that didn't work. And the reason why that didn't work is because this particular file is separated by semicolons. So I need to tell awk how my file is separated. Otherwise, awk is going to understand that the file is separated by spaces, which isn't the case. For that, we're going to use the capital F option, and then in quotations over here, we provide the particular character that is going to split this file. Now, I put this in quotation over here because a semicolon is used for indicating the end of a command, right? And if I don't put this in quotations, the shell is going to understand that I want to end this command and it's going to create a problem. So to avoid that, I put it inside quotation marks over here. When we press enter now, notice that we get the brand of the car and also the country in which it was made, because that is the last field of my CSV file. Again, I'm going to clear the screen and we're going to repeat the command one more time. But this time we are going to, let me go back to CSV. And now let's do head -1 cars.csv, because this is going to give me the first field. Okay, so these are the column headers. So we know that the first field is car and the last field is the country of origin. So we are going to do awk, split this file in semicolons, and then in single quotes I put here my awk script, which is simply print the first column and the last one, which is NF, and then the name of the file, which is cars.csv. There you go. That's your command. There are more examples of awk in the presentation as well. Now we're gonna print the first and the last field of the cars.csv file, but this time we are going to use made in as a delimiter. Now the default delimiter here is this. So there is a way for us to modify the output delimiter, similar like we do in cut. We use the OFS variable for this, right? So what we're gonna do is, let's go back over here. Let's go to handling text files, awk variables, and when you look over here, this is the example that you should use to solve this problem. Notice OFS equals to an equal sign will replace whatever field is being used in this file for an equal sign. So in my case over here, what we want is, so we're gonna put this inside here. So give me the OFS output field separator as a space made in a space. Now press enter, and notice that instead of having a space as a field separator, we have made in Japan. So made in a space as the field separator for that particular file. Okay, so let's take a look at the next question. Now we're gonna print the cars.csv file in such a way that the output looks like this. Now we have something already similar to this, right? The only problem is that, let's say that we put the word the here, right? Because, you know, maybe that's the only thing we need, the, right? So we got the, comma, enter. Oops. Double quotes here. My apologies, double quotes there. Enter. So notice that it sort of works, because it puts the word the in the beginning, but it also puts a field separator here. So it doesn't quite work. Now in this case, what we can do is something even simpler. Look at this. I'm gonna get rid of the field separator, and instead I'm gonna say the $1, comma, because that's gonna be the name of the car. For example, the Honda Civic, and then here I'm gonna put is made in a space and then the country of origin. When I press enter over here, notice that I get the Ford Escort 4W is made in the US, which is exactly what we're looking for. It's very similar, right? The only difference is that the sentence here says the car has X amount of cylinders and is made in the USA. Now, to solve this question, and you're gonna get something similar in your final, we need to analyze the fields that we have in the CSV file. So we're gonna do again a head -1 cars.csv, and we're gonna take a look at this. So we know that the car will be $1. We know that the country of origin will be an F, which is the last field. But the number of cylinders, what do we have here? That will be 1, 2, that will be number 3. So that is the variable we want. And I think that's about it. So let's start building our awk command. So we're gonna do awk. The field separator here is a semicolon. And then let's build our awk script. So print the word the with a space, sorry, this is double quotes, the with a space, comma, and then over here give me the name of the car, so that will be $1, as you can see over here. Then we're gonna put another comma, and we're gonna say space has, comma, and then over here we're gonna do how many cylinders does it have? Well, that would be number 3. And we get number 3 over here, right? Then we go, okie dokie, so what are we missing? Well, we are missing and is made in, so and is made in, let's make sure we put in a space here, we put in a space over here. Actually, we don't need a space over here because we already put it in spaces. No, we do need a space there, my apologies. And it's made in, and then finally we provide country of origin, which is the last field, which is gonna be an F. Finally, we provide the name of the file, which is cars.csv. Press enter, and what do we have? The Chevy S10 has 4, typo, 4 what? Has what? Has 4, but then here we miss something. We miss the word cylinders. Cylinders. Press enter, and you got 4 cylinders, and it's made in the United States, right? So we can also get rid of this here. I'm pretty sure the default field separator is a space, so we don't need a space here. Don't need a space here. Press enter. Yep, that's perfectly fine. There you go. Here is your answer. Again, try to play around with this, build other sentences using these files so that you can get a hint, so you can, get a handle how this works. The more you practice, the better you understand it. So print the first print the cars.csv file, excluding the first 2 records. That means lines, right? Every line is a record. Now there is an example that I put in the presentations for you to play around with. So if you go to the presentation, you're gonna see this example over here. Start printing a file from a given line. And that kind of makes sense for what we want to do here, because if I do head -5 cars.csv, notice that the first 2 lines here, the first line is the name of the columns, and then the next one is the data type in which each value is stored in. But I don't want that. I don't want these 2 lines in the file or in the output of my awk command. So for that, we can just modify this command a little bit. So we're gonna do awk, again, quotations, open and close bracket, and we're gonna start with NR3, right? Because we wanted to start at line number 3, and then the only thing that I need you to do is print. And then we provide the name of the file, which is cars.csv, and that's it. You can also do this. Remember our old command over here? Look at this. NR3, and then print. And now when you scroll all the way to the top, you're gonna notice that you don't have the first 2 lines anymore. Okie dokie. Now print all the car names in uppercase. You can do that on your own. There is an example in the presentation. Modify it to fit this particular example. Then we're gonna work with sed. Sed is used for, well, replacing and deleting characters and matches of strings in a particular file. So for example, you want to replace the word pizza and rice for rice. Set as pizza rice. The only problem is this is going to only work once. So if you want to do it globally, you need to provide a G. Now, let's see what they're asking us here. So they want all instances of the word Dracula with Alucard. So we're going to go back to our books.csv file. And then here we'll do sed as replace Dracula with Alucard, and G because I want this to be done in the entire file globally. On every single line that you find the word Dracula, give me the word Alucard and the name of the book, which is Dracula.txt. And notice that if you pipe this to grep and you try to find the word Dracula, it will return nothing, because now in the output of this command, every instance of the word Dracula was replaced with Alucard. Insert the blank line after each line in the etc password file. I'll let you figure that one on your own. There is an example in the presentation. You can go read it and then implement it. Replace all, the same thing with this one. It's a very straightforward command. Go ahead and work with it. Now, input and output redirection. Now, this is a little bit more interesting. Now, how many users can log in with the Beam Bash shell? Now, remember the etc password file? Well, that's what we're going to be working with right now. So let's take a look at that file. I'm just going to look at the first couple of users. So etc password. So we got, this is the login shell of my system, bin bash. And if I need to figure out how many users have this shell, I can use grep for this. I can do, hey, grep, give me every line that contains the word bin bash inside the file etc password, right? And I have 2. Now, but what if I want an actual number? Like I only want the number of users. Now, I can do this with grep, or I can pipe it to wc, and that's gonna give me 2. You can also do it with grep. I'm pretty sure grep has an option for counting the number of times a particular pattern was matched. I think it is, let me see, I believe the option is WO, not quite sure. Here, let's take a look. Let's go back to our cheat sheet, and that's why cheat sheets are very useful, because I don't remember the particular option of the grep command that allows me to do that. There you go, see. Again, see, returns 2. Okie dokie, that's not good. Put it in there. Bingo. Now, how many users have the sbin no login shell assigned? Again, I can use a similar thing now. We can look for sbin no login and then count the number of lines. How many Ford vehicles are there in the cars.csv file? Okay, this is interesting. Now we are gonna go to cd documents and then csv, and now we're gonna do grep, turn off case sensitivity, and look for the word Ford inside the file cars.csv, right? And we have, well, we have a good number of them. So again, we can just count it with wc minus l, and that's going to give us 53. Or you can use just a single command with grep, however you choose to do it. I'm pretty sure you can answer number 4 on your own. Work with that with IO redirection. It's more about thinking what output you want to get, and then start combining commands and daisy chaining them one after each other until you get to the output that you're looking for. Now, let's look at this challenge question, right? So, display only the names of the serials in the serial.csv file. So they want only the names of the serials there, right? So we can use awk for this, right? So we can do awk right? And then we do, because they only want the names, so I'm gonna do nr3 so I can skip line 1 and 2, and then we can take print me $1, which is gonna be the name of the serial, right? Oops, forgot to provide the name of the file, serial.csv, and this is gonna give me the name of the serial, see, from 1 all the way till the last one. Of course, you can do this combining multiple commands if you so desire, but awk can do the job very well. Now, sort the output of the previous command. Okay. Sort, and it is sorted. Display the names and serials and the amount of calories they have per serving. I'll let you do that one on your own. Repeat the previous command, but replace the semicolon with a comma. Again, this one over here depends. If you achieve this in a way in which you don't need to complete number 4, then go ahead, don't complete it. If you achieve it in a way where you need to do number 4, then do number 4. Just try to do your best, right? So display the names of the cereals and the amount of calories they have per serving. Now, if we do head minus 2, not just minus 1, serial.csv. Notice that calories is the 1, 2, 3, 4th field here. So that should give you an idea on how to work with this. With that said, if you have any questions about this particular lab, let me know. Again, I didn't do these ones in the video because I think they're too easy. I think you can figure them out on your own. Make sure you take all the appropriate screenshots and give them to me. When this is due? The last day of the semester. So you have plenty of time to work on this. My advice is work on it slowly, study as much as you can, practice the commands as much as you can. Remember that I'm gonna be allowing you to have a little cheat sheet of the commands that you can use to reference while you're working on the final. So don't focus on memorization, focus on understanding how things work so that you can combine these commands in a meaningful way. See you in class.